2, 1.
7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Smart 7.
Good morning, everybody. It's Friday the 27th of May, and it's Sunscreen Day. And a big happy birthday to Andre 3000, Paul Gascoigne, Jamie Oliver and Paul Bettany. In a totally coincidental announcement, the day after the Sue Gray report was released, Chancellor Rishi Sunak delivered comprehensive new plans to help support the nation during the current cost of living crisis. The first piece of good news is that the £200 loan that the government was forcing you to take is now doubled to £400, and it's no longer a loan.
So for the avoidance of doubt, this support is now unambiguously a grant.
And how will this not loan be funded? Well, it's apparently time for a U-turn on the concept of windfall taxes. Although whatever you do, don't call it a windfall tax on big energy companies.
We will introduce a temporary targeted energy profits levy, but...
Not surprisingly, BBC News wanted a little bit of further clarification on what exactly an energy profits levy might be.
These are windfall profits, or they are extraordinary profits, and they will be taxed, but through a new levy that will also include an investment incentive.
Partygate hasn't got away, however, even if the Chancellor says that the timing of Thursday's new financial measures is purely a happy accident.
And the timing of today is because we now have more clarity about what's going to happen to energy bills in the autumn.
Liberal Democrat leader Sir Ed Davey remains unconvinced by the Prime Minister's attempts at contrition over the Sue Gray report, as he told Kay Burley.
His apologies to Parliament and the country weren't terribly credible. I mean, it was almost like he was sorry that he got caught.
With no sign of a backbench rebellion or any serious push to remove Boris from his post, Theresa May's former Chief of Staff, Lord Barwell, says the most realistic chance of seeing Boris removed is by the public at the next general election.
Something like 60% of the British population thinks he should resign, and I am one of them. I also think pragmatically, from the Conservative Party's point of view, he's not going to be able to recover his standing with the electorate. And if they carry on without a change, then I fear they're looking towards a defeat at the next election.
Russia continues to crank up the pressure on Ukraine as its troops push forward in the east of the country in a bid to take full control of the Lugansk region. There was fresh shelling too of Ukraine's second largest city, Kharkiv, for the first time in 2 weeks, which left at least 9 dead and 19 injured. And 2 more Russian soldiers pled guilty to war crimes over charges they were involved in shelling a school in eastern Ukraine. The mayor of Kyiv, Vitaly Klitschko, and brother Vladimir were at the World Economic Forum in Davos, helping to make the case for more support and heavy weapons so that Ukrainian forces can push back the latest Russian advance.
I tell to every politician, right now the world black and white, and you have to decide. You're on the side of democracy, of peace in Ukraine, or you're in the side of dictator, the aggressors, Russian Federation.
Also at Davos, former US Secretary of State Henry Kissinger made a speech which suggested that Ukraine should give up territory to Russia and seek an end to the war. Those remarks don't match polling in Ukraine, which suggests more than 80% of people aren't willing to concede any territory, and President Zelensky was less than impressed.
It seems Mr. Kissinger's calendar is not 2022, but 1938. And he thought he was talking to an audience not in Davos, but in Munich of that time.
The school shooting in Uvalde, Texas, which saw 19 children aged between 7 and 10 and 2 teachers killed, has sparked a furious reaction in the US. Reports are emerging that the shooter was left inside the school for 45 minutes while parents and police gathered outside. Some reports suggested police officers retrieved their own children rather than tackling the shooter. An investigation's ongoing, but the testimony from the students, including 9-year-old Chance Aguirre, is heartbreaking.
Everybody was scared. We were all panicking because we didn't know what was really happening. All we saw were thousands of police and Border Patrol coming into the cafeteria.
There's been an immediate call for action on gun control, but Republicans have already blocked a first vote in the Senate, and when Sky News reporter Mark Stone challenged Texas Republican Senator Ted Cruz, he was shut down.
If you want to stop violent crime, the proposals the Democrats have, none of them would have stopped this.
But why does this only happen in your country? I really think that's what many people around the world they cannot fathom. Why only in America? Why is this American exceptionalism so awful?
I'm sorry you think American exceptionalism is awful.
Still to come on the Smart 7, Liverpool gets set for Champions League glory and tributes to a good fella. Right after this. Welcome back.
This Saturday sees Liverpool take on Real Madrid in the Champions League final in the Stade de France. Liverpool had been chasing a quadruple, but still have a shot at a treble after losing the Premier League title to Man City. Manager Jurgen Klopp says there's been no issue with motivating his team, even after the disappointment of the last gasp loss of the title.
Life is like this. If you're healthy, what the boys obviously are, life gives you opportunities again and again, and in this case it's a Champions League final, so we see that nobody feels the pain from Sunday anymore.
Seth MacFarlane, the creator and voice of Family Guy, is back with a new album and a new series of his comedy space opera, The Orville New Horizons. He popped up on Jimmy Kimmel's show to relate a deeply odd story about meeting actress Selma Blair.
I was at this club in Vegas, and Seth Green had taken me there. And he introduced me to Selma Blair, and she took my hand, and I thought, oh, she's going to kiss my hand like a chivalrous person of old. And she bit my hand. Of course, I let out a yelp because I'm not an alpha male.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
The death was announced on Thursday of Hollywood star Ray Liotta. He was filming in the Dominican Republic where he was shooting a film called Dangerous Waters and apparently died in his sleep at the age of 67. He was in the middle of a career resurgence, appearing in The Many Saints of Newark, which won him an Indie Spirit Award. He also picked up a Primetime Emmy for his work on ER. He's maybe best known for playing Henry Hill in Martin Scorsese's epic Goodfellas, where he starred opposite Robert De Niro, Paul Sorvino and a fiery Joe Pesci. He told the story last year of how the iconic You Think I'm Funny scene came about and how it was partly improvised. Rest in peace, Ray.
And Joe told a story about a time that he was in a restaurant and he said to some guy, well, that's really funny. And that guy just flipped and turned on him. But these were like real deal people. So Joe was telling that story, and Marty, being as creative as he is, he said, you know what? This would be a great place to put it where it turned out to be.
This has been The Smart 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day.
Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.